Hello everybody and welcome back. This video is something I'm excited to just jump right into it, so we're going to be doing that. It's based on a perspective that I want you guys to always return to. If you return to this perspective and you get it ingrained in your head, I'm telling you, the lack of movement, right? The things happening in your 3D, your circumstances, right? In your physical reality, all this stuff, you're going to be able to look at it eventually, sooner than later, as irrelevant, right? It's just something that's passing by. And this perspective is something that I'm really inspired to share with you guys, right? I'm not going to take credit for it. I know for a fact there's been multiple, authors and people that have brought up this similar, perspective and stuff. So I'm not going to say that I invented it. I may just be the first one that you're hearing it from. And I just want you guys to understand, in my studies, I've seen so many different things. And this is one of the things that stuck with me because of how simple and genius it actually is to kind of look at life like this, right? So that being said, before I get into it, as you already know, embodythestate.com. There should be a link in the description when you check if you need it. If you need any form of help getting your manifestation, you don't know what you're doing wrong, you want to understand the law on a much more, higher level, I guess, or more advanced level, and you want to really learn to live by the law and apply it, of course, it's there for you. You do not need it for success. I tell that to everybody. You do not need to spend a penny to manifest. I didn't when I started, right? Because there was no one I could really go to anyways, right? But even if there wasn't, I wouldn't have gone because I was too broke, right? But that being said, if you can afford it and you want to save time and you don't want to read all the books and you just want me to kind of give you what you need, of course, that's always there for you. I'm always there to help you guys. It's only if you can afford it. I don't want any money if you guys can't afford it and you have to sacrifice anything, okay? So that being said, thank you very much, guys, for, coming to this channel and watching these videos. And all I ask, I don't ask for anything from you guys other than to hit that like if this video inspired you or helped you in any way, and to subscribe if you haven't, okay, guys? So that being said, let's get into the fun part. Whew, okay, so this is a very interesting and neat perspective. I love sharing this perspective because it makes so many things click for people. So the perspective is, think of it like this. Okay, so we have the inner man and the outer man, right? And when I'm saying man, just think of human, okay? So we have the inner man, outer man. So you can think of it as well, inner woman, outer woman, doesn't matter, but we have an inner man, and that inner man is the thing that we experience first, right? So let's just keep it simple. I'm not going to get into like the full specifics of like who the inner man is and all this stuff, right? Let's just say that inside of us we have, this amazing power, right? That we are literally a human aspect of the creator, right? So we have this inner man. This, whatever I say of myself that is true and with conviction is true, because what I experience within myself will always be my experience outside, right? So we have the inner man and the outer man, right? The outer man is me, my physical shell, the one you're watching on this video right now, right? The one that's giving you information, the one that you guys look up to, the one that you guys trust. This is my outer man, right? This is my shell. And right now in my experience is my outer world, as Neville calls it, the world of Caesar, right? So we now understand, in order to change the world of Caesar, in order to change the experience for the outer man, for example, myself, right? I understand I have to live by the inner man. So, for example, if I want love, I want an SP, right? I have to start viewing her as mine already. I just have to, remember how I showed you in my last video how, let's say I'm starting here, right? I'm single, but I want an SP. If I want my SP and she's over there, right? I'm going to literally just take a step to my left, so boom. And now I literally just assumed that she's my girlfriend already, or wife, or fiance, whatever, right? And notice how I didn't have to close my eyes. Notice how I didn't have to do any crazy technique, right? I just assumed something, right? We can all do it. I know a lot of you might be saying, I can't just assume it. I just can't. How can I just assume I have something I don't have, right? You can. You did it as a kid. But somewhere along the lines, you stopped doing it, right? And somewhere along the lines, you literally you reinforce that habit of, I can't just assume things. Yes, you can, guys. Every single one of you. Think about it. If you're watching this right now, use this moment to do this little exercise. What would you do if you knew for a fact in 30 days you were going to get $80 million from your government, from the lotto office, right? You knew for a fact 30 days from now you're going to be worth $80 million. Assume that. How would it actually feel internally? How would you think as well if this was actually true? You can step into that as if it was actually true for just a second. And you'll realize you'll be thinking from it and you'll be feeling from it. That is what you focus on when you're trying to change your outer world, this world, when you're trying to, get a different reflection in the world of Caesar, right? So when you know that you want something, it's as simple as giving it to yourself by assuming it, right? Now the inner man has experienced that, that relationship, having that girlfriend. Therefore, I now know the inner man has said it's done, and it's done. I've experienced it. Now all that's left to do is for my higher self to figure things out, right? And I just don't have to contradict it, right? That one fulfillment is good enough for it to happen. But because I know I'm only human and I might make some mistakes, I'll just fulfill myself when I'm in the mood for it, right? And then that way I'm still piling up points. So now that you know, pretty much, like, that's just the quick rundown that you guys already know most likely, right? Of just manifesting anything, right? The inside of me, the inner man, has to experience it first and consistently, right? I have to stay aligned in a straight line with that desire, right? I can't say, oh, I'm going to feel loved by her because I'm only doing it to get her. So I'm just going to feel loved for a second. And then spend the rest of the day feeling lack and nothing. And then go, in other words, going to the opposite, right? It's okay if you don't feel loved by her all day or your SP all day, right? It's when you feel loved, then you embody that state and you assume the things that would lead to that, right? You just assume you are it now. Then guess what? That one time is enough as long as you stay in that straight line, right? And a lot of people don't. And that's why Neville, and at least I myself, I tell everyone return to it frequently, right? Because it makes it automatic. It makes it happen for you. So now that we know that, the basic rundown, that the inner has to happen first for the outer to happen. The mistake people make is they now go on their journey, right? They go on their journey and then they start, 2 days passes, 3 days passes, whatever it may be, a week, 2 weeks, doesn't matter. And then no results, right? Or they see no movement, but they have no evidence that there's nothing happening, right? Like, for example, for me, when I got my first SP back, it was 14 days. Literally on day 14 was the day of that was day 14 of our breakup, right? We broke up. I didn't want her for a little bit. I was kind of content. I was like, okay, I'm single. I'm okay with this. And then something changed and I was like, I miss her. I want her back and blah, blah, blah. And then from that point forward, I began mental dieting. 3 days after that, right, was day 14. And then boom, right? The bridge of incidents happened. The things I did was I kept returning, I was giving my inner experience, my girlfriend, my ex back, right? I was seeing her as my girlfriend again. The one thing I didn't do was, when that 1 day passed, 2 day passed, I didn't say, okay, guys, it's 2 days. I've been doing everything perfect. I didn't even have one negative thought. Why is it not here, right? And if I did that, then I would have most likely not experienced, her on the third day if I literally assumed that and lived as if, nothing's happening, right? But I didn't care. I knew it was going to reflect. The perspective I want to share with you guys is, imagine yourselves on a train, right? Or like a subway cart. And it's something so vital that I really want you to remember this little example, right? I want you to remember that, imagine yourself on the back of a cart, right? Imagine, like, if you live in a city and you've been on a subway cart, you know that if you sit at the back, right, you're not going to see the same thing at the front. Correct? You're not going to see what the driver sees right away. So if the driver's driving in a straight line, he's already saw what you're about to see, right? So when you're looking to your left out the window, right, and you're seeing that tree that just passed by, the driver already saw it like a minute ago, right? In other words, ahead of you. View that driver as, as the one that's going to experience things first, right? It's the inner man. And view yourself in the back of the cart as the outer man, right? So the outer man gets it last. The inner man gets it and sees it first, right? I hope that's making sense, right? So when you realize that now the inner man is experiencing it and you understand that you're just waiting to see what the inner man saw, then you live a life of peace. Think about it. When that subway cart starts turning, right? It's going to be like over here, but you're going to still be looking there, right? So it's kind of going to be like making a corner and you're going to be only looking the opposite direction. You're going to have no clue that the front of the cart has just changed, right? You're going to have no clue. And if you now start panicking that nothing has changed, oh my God, the cart hasn't turned yet. I don't see the results. I'm not seeing the tree and blah, blah, blah. Even though the driver at the front of the cart, the conductor, is just chilling. He's like, man, I saw this beautiful tree. I saw all this already. I'm experiencing it. Blah, 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 blah. He's just happy, right? But then you're over there like panicking, stressed, upset, spiraling, stalking, doing all these lack activities, right? But you're failing to understand. You are literally in the back of the subway cart or the back of the train, and the car in front of you, the cart that's controlling all these, right, has already turned, has already experienced these things, right? And you're simply waiting for the back of the train, the cart, to catch up. Doesn't that make sense, guys? That's what I want you guys to literally understand. I want you to return to that as often as you can. When you understand that your inner world has to be experienced first, when you are experiencing anything that you want inside of yourself, that is you giving it to yourself. You are literally experiencing what is already created, right? It goes back to my last video, creation is finished. You are going back to that. When you experience that, you're experiencing what's finished. And the only thing you can do wrong at that point is sit at the back of the train and then complain that you haven't seen the beautiful scenery that the driver at the front has seen. Because when people do that, they're failing to understand. It's coming, guys. It's going to change. And don't be afraid of knowing that it's coming. I know so many people say, oh, you can't look at it that way, and it always has to be as if it's already done, and blah, blah, blah. It's all BS, guys, okay? That's just one person's way of doing it. And like Neville liked to do it, more so looking at it like it's done versus, knowing it's coming. But at the same time, I mean, if you look at certain books, like even Power of Awareness, he gives examples of like, he understands it's coming, right? And that's why I'm not very, how do you call it? Like, I'm not gung-ho about people that just say, oh, you can only look at it like it's already done. You can't ever look at it or know that it's coming, right? Because even Neville did, right? Like, imagine when Neville was trying to get out of, the draft, right? And he got declined the first time. He admitted that he forgot how to use the law. He forgot about it. And he was upset, and he was surrounded in a barracks full of sweaty men and a bunch of, bunk beds and stuff. And guess what? Do you think that he literally in that moment, 24/7 was like, oh, I'm back home. I'm with my wife? No. He knew it was going to change. He knew he was in the back of that train. He knew that he experienced it in the inner world. The inner man experienced the fulfillment already, right? He saw it, right? He saw himself with his wife. So guess what? He just relaxed and let the 3D catch up. And that's the thing a lot of you people are not doing. You're not relaxing and letting the 3D catch up. You're instead sitting there, most likely, right? And I'm not saying this is all of you, but I've heard from a lot of people that, it's a pattern I see. It's like 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, whatever amount of time passes, and then it hits them. What if this amount of time triples and nothing changes, quadruples and nothing has changed, right? Then you start, oh no, what if I'm wasting time? I'm doing something wrong. I gotta go watch this video and do this and do that and do all these processes. Guys, I'm telling you, go to the back of the train and chill there. Understand, you're actually relaxing in the back of the train. The front of the cart, the conductor already started moving things. The moment you gave yourself something, it started moving it towards you. The only things you guys do that screw that up is you start looking for movement. You start doubting yourself. You start having more conviction in the lack than you do in the faith and the fulfillment. And therefore, you're not ruining your manifestation. You're just, pausing it a little bit. You're slowing it down. That's all, right? And that's why I like to tell people, and as does Neville, to return to that frequently, right? To return to the fulfillment. In other words, go from I don't have to step over here, I have. It's that simple. You can assume things that you don't have. There's no one blocking you. In imagination, there is nothing that can stop you. Nothing, guys. There's nothing that can stop you. Nothing that can stop you from feeling. Nothing that can stop you from experiencing. Nothing that can stop you from having whatever it is you want. So does it make sense to, in your imagination, go to lack when you can give yourself the opposite? Does it make sense to, in your inner world, start looking outside and being like, oh no, nothing has changed. I'm doing something wrong, even though you've actually been doing things correct, right? Because trust me, I have clients sometimes that call me and they're only a week in or whatever, and they just began doing, the mental dieting, getting strict. But then they're like, it's been a week or it's been 3 days or 4 days, whatever it may be. And then they're just like, nothing's happening. And it's like, how do you know something wouldn't have happened 24 hours from now or 3 days from now? And if you knew it was going to happen in 3 weeks from now, would you really care about right now? And the answer is no, right? You'd be relaxing in the back of the train, just like Neville was when he was getting out of the draft. And that is why I tell people, understand your inner world, your inner man has to experience it first. And, when you realize that you're at the back of the train and you're going to see things change last because the 3D has to catch up, then you realize there's no point in being fearful and feeling lack and looking at your world and being disappointed. This is a world of illusions. This is a world that's literally just showing you the past, but it looks so real to you. That lack of messaging, the lack of text, the SP hasn't reached out, the money hasn't come in, the boss doesn't appreciate you. You have such natural conviction to those things, and none for the things you want. But if you understand now, this train that I'm on is going to see the things that the driver has seen, but later. In other words, your inner world experiences it first, that's the driver. And you will see it afterwards, right? So if the cart is here, right? So this is the driver right here. And let's say, I don't know, let's say there's like a tree here, right? So the conductor saw the tree. The guy back here is not going to see the tree until he catches up there, right? Does that make sense? So manifestation, inner man, wish fulfilled, you, right here, right? This is lack, blah, blah, blah. I don't have it now. You can literally, as the cart's driving, so wish fulfilled, you gave it to yourself here. And right now you're standing here, right? Your train moves forward. Guess what? So remember, right here is your wish fulfilled. You're eventually going to catch up. The only thing you can do wrong is decide, instead of being aligned here on this line and letting myself get to here, you'll be here, maybe you'll get here, and then you'll end up here because it's like, oh no, I don't see anything, or down here, right? You got to understand you're always moving like this. Time is just going like this, straight, straight, straight. And when you start doubting yourself, you're going here, 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 everywhere else, but your desire has always been there. Your desire has never stopped and never changed. It's always existing. So understand, you're on that train, and here it is, fulfillment, wish fulfilled, manifestation, success, done. What do you do from here to there? Here you begin, and you have faith that it's coming. You understand it's going to manifest because I experienced it within. I am this person. When you think about it, you just assume it's done. You don't have to do all these crazy processes if you don't want to, right? When you get to the level of understanding past the beginner, you'll realize this, right? You realize I don't got to visualize if I don't want to. I don't got to do any techniques or close my eyes or anything, right? I can just assume it, right? I can just assume what it would be like if I actually had 50 million cash to waste, right? If I really assumed I have 50 million cash to waste, what am I going to spend with it? Right away, I'm thinking I'm going to get a Rolls Royce. I'm probably going to get a Bentley Continental GT. I'm going to get a penthouse. Probably a couple properties for family members. So many other things, right? That's what a regular person would think, or they'll pick their dream cars. But guess what? When you're doing that, you're literally living like you're looking at your life, your goal from the perspective of having it in that moment, right? Me contemplating those things, like when I was looking up, I was literally like in my brain, I'm just like, yeah, I'd be getting a Rolls Royce. So I saw the color of it, I saw the model of it, and then I saw the Bentley color, I saw the penthouse, I saw the view out the glass with the fireplace, and like all this I did with my eyes open. It wasn't vivid or anything, but I know what it means to me. And that's what I wanted, right? So I can just accept that that's me. Like I'm giving it to myself, right? And I'm looking at the goal from having that 50 million, right? It's the same concept. When I'm looking at the goal from having 50 million, I'm in alignment with the wish fulfilled here, right? I'm allowing myself to catch up. But when I start doubting myself, I start doubting the process. I start doubting, what am I doing? Is this right? What if this doesn't work? It's been 2 weeks. What if I make it to week 6 and nothing changes? Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's valid. But what if everything does change, right? What if your world comes together and everything gets given to you because you gave it to yourself and you allowed it to happen, most importantly, right? What if? But how come you believe the bad more than the good? And that's the part that really, I don't want to say bothers me, because I know the law. I know if I'm bothered by it, I'm gonna keep getting clients and seeing viewers and other people in different channels that deal with this, right? So I'm not gonna say it bothers me, but it's like I'm someone that has been through what you're trying to go through, right? And it's like you're watching people figure it out, and you're gonna be so proud of them when they finally do, right? It's like you feel for them, kind of. That's kind of how I look at things, right? It's more so not that I feel pity or anything. It's just I understand it's your journey, and I know it sucks for you, and that's the part that I kind of connect with, right? That's the part I feel for you with, but I don't feel bad for you guys overall, because I know you're gonna make it click. I know you're gonna get your results, right? I don't know when you're gonna get them, but I know you will if you persist. But more importantly, you continue to study and learn the law from proper sources, right? And that's why I tell people, don't even trust me, right? Like, to me, I tell you guys are just lucky. I don't give you guys my opinion. I'm teaching source material. Start studying source materials. Start studying people that teach source material, right? That's why I'm very, in the past I was very vocal about like who to be careful, who you study from, right? I didn't care whose toes I stepped on, right? Because I stick to sources. I just want you guys to really get the actual raw material and really study it, because I'm telling you, no teaching today is going to surpass source material, right? Maybe in the future, who knows? But as of right now, I'm yet to find anything that's not source material that is more efficient, faster, and healthier than anything else, right? I'm yet to find it. So I'm open-minded, but that's why I tell people, stick to source material. Stick to things that have been proven by centuries and different cultures and different timelines, right? Stick to them and really understand you are in the back of that train, just like they teach you, right? They're not teaching you to just say things and to just affirm nice things about yourself all day and not once try to change your identity or how you feel about yourself. You know, and the source teachers aren't telling you to run away and ignore the bad, scary stuff. They teach you to sit there and understand it, to really look at it from the eyes of God, to understand my inner man has to experience it first. And if I let it be and I let the things come to me, in other words, I walk in that conviction that it's done. When I think about it, I just assume, I step into it, boom, it's done, thank you, right? And I move on, right? I just give myself 1 second at least of pure conviction. That's good enough. Then I know it's done. But, you know, for you guys, it's a lot of people come to me that were given such bad information, and I'm not going to name anyone, and I don't want to start any drama with anyone, right? But I'm sharing my experience, right? And that's why I share this with you guys. That's why I want to give you guys this perspective, because I want you guys to understand, right? There is good information and bad information. There's always going to be that, right? That's just the law of polarity at play. If there's good info, there's bad info. If there's you know, rain, there's sun. If there's heat, there's cold, blah, 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 right? So when you understand that you're literally living in a reality where your past is being pretty much, you're reaching behind you and just flinging it forward, right? Doesn't it make sense? Like, think of it. And you know, it's like you reach behind and then you just chuck whatever you just experienced ahead of you. And that's going to be a thing you experience. It's a similar concept to the cart, right? It's the conductor is moving, and then guess what? You're going to see it eventually. But when you start doubting yourself and you start getting worried, that is when you guys start making the mistakes. And that's when you change which cart you're on, which is going to see different things in your reality, okay? So that's just something I really wanted to share with you guys. I'm sorry the video was a little all over the place. Honestly, you know, like I always mentioned in the past, these videos, I don't really plan them. This was something that it's kind of, I trust my intuition more than my planning, right? You know, the reason is because I feel if I plan things, you know, you guys you're not getting the real me. I don't like planning things, guys. I don't like, you know, sitting down and say, okay, on this day, I'm going to release this video on this topic. No, I do but what I feel you guys need, right? And today I felt that you guys needed this. So that being said, I just hope that this helped you guys. I know it's going to make some things click for you guys. I know that the example of the train and stuff is going to be so simple for you guys to understand, okay? I just want you to know that I know it seems scary. I know that you're thinking, what if this doesn't work? Trust me. If you knew my life story, and eventually I'll get into that, right? Down the road, I'll share with you guys some of like the personal stuff and things I've overcome. But trust me, if you guys knew, like, there would be no doubt, right? And that's why I do what I do. That's why I teach, right? I didn't even want to teach the law publicly. I was doing it, you know, privately to help out some people. Other than that, I didn't really care to teach anyone publicly, because I just figured I can just bless people and with my inner world, right? And therefore, like, maybe I could help more people than teaching. But I realized, you know what, like, I got pushed into this kind of by a friend that you already know, right? And you know, she really pushed me for a year to teach you guys and to make these videos and to really show my face and give you guys the information that you guys need. So I hope that this resonated with you guys, and trust me, it's not scary. Just trust me when I tell you this. You're in the back of that train. And when you fulfill yourself, and you, especially if you continue to return to that, not hold it, but return to it. And anytime you're not in it, in that assumption, you're instead just not going to the negative, right? Doing your best to just understand the negative is just there. Cool, no reaction. I don't need to react to it. I'm focused on the you know, my mind is on the eye on the prize, right? It's, what do I want? What do I want? Okay, what does it look like? Okay, what does it feel like to have it? Boom, it's that simple, right? That's the things I do within myself. And I know that I'm on the back of the train. I always know I'm in the back of the train. And I always know that I don't see what the inner man saw first, right? What the conductor saw first. But I understand that it's coming. And because I understand it's coming, I don't have to be afraid. Oh no, I said it's coming, which means I don't have it. No, none of that. I know it's coming. And because I know it's coming, I still have the conviction that it's done. It's mine within. So how can knowing it's coming while feeling that it's already mine, how could that kind of block it? It doesn't. Because what I feel to be true is going to be my experience. That's why when you see bad news or something that scares you about your SP, you get that gut feeling, the anxiety, you lose your appetite. Guess what you're doing? You're accepting a fact with conviction. You've reacted to it because you've accepted it, right? Same concept. I just choose to not accept the bad because I know how this works now. I know that I'm on the back of the train and that it's all going to change. I just chill and I'm relaxed, feet up. I'm looking around. I'm like, all right, I'm just waiting, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not waiting in lack. I'm waiting in joyful anticipation. When I think about it, I think of all the things I'm doing with my desire, with the money, with the SP, you name it, right? That's what I want you guys to be doing, okay? So I hope this video helped you guys. And, you know, I pretty much want to tell you guys that you're all capable of doing this, right? Before I go, I just want you to all know that you can all do this. There's nothing stopping you. The only thing that can stop you is you. In your imagination, you are untouchable. In your imagination, you are the Almighty. In your imagination, there is nothing that can be denied to you. So trust yourself on this journey and understand that the only thing stopping you will always be you. There is nobody outside of you. There's no competition. I don't care how pretty that girl or how handsome that guy is or how much money he has, what car they got. I don't care. I don't care if you're broke. I don't care if you're whatever's going on. If you have a desire for something greater in your life, then that means it's already existing. That means creation is finished, which means all you have to do is align with it and return to it and align with it more than anything else. So give it to yourself, trust that it's going to reflect, and live in that knowing that you're on the back of that train and you know it's coming. And because you know it's coming, you can now celebrate it every time you think about it. Be joyful. Expect it. Okay, guys? I want you to be relentless in your pursuit of your happiness. Okay, guys? So that being said, I love you all very much. Thank you for listening if you made it this far. And once again, if this video inspired you, please hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. That's all I ask for you guys. Everything else you already know, embodiedthestate.com if you need any coaching. Other than that, I love you all, and I will see you guys very soon, okay? Take care.